Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. For the deep dive, we're going back to 2007. It was a wonderful year for the Cats, not so much for you, Cornsey. 2007, the grand final win was a 114-point belting, a 44-year drought that the Cats broke on this day. I wanted to highlight Brad Otten, so symbolic moment, 15 points in the game. What about the chase of the big fella, Brad Otten? He was wonderful through those era. Brings
Kick
him
it,
down.
Petters! Kick the ball, son!
Who was it, Kato?
Michael Pettigrew.
Michael Pettigrew.
Kick it!
Yeah, Petters.
Game changer. Jimmy Bartel was involved. Obviously, we'll talk about him later. Gary Ablett in his prime. Stevie J, who have got on the handball. He won the Norm Smith medal on this day. And Paul Chapman. The names kept going on and on. And who would forget Billy Brownless, Damo, crying in the...
Who did you made it about himself, Billy? Who did you play that?
I started on Jimmy. They quickly dropped the tag when we were about 70 points down at half time.
And then how'd you go?
No, I had a bit of the ball, but nothing.
You just looked after your own stats.
82% kicking efficiency. You were the racing first, didn't you?
Yeah, and obviously 2007, we look at the goal on the Mark of the Year, and the Mark of the Year was taken by Newton of the Melbourne Football Club, one of the great grabs there at Dockland Stadium. So Newton flies over the pack here and takes a huge grab.
That's a big grab.
So a huge grab against North Melbourne there. And while I love the mark, I think the goal tops it.
You can't go there, Lloydy.
I think the goal tops it.
You're not going here, are you?
I am.
It wasn't even a good goal.
I should have got someone else to do it.
It wasn't even good.
It wasn't even good. Who said that?
I did.
Come on, Damo. You wouldn't have thought to do this.
Mate, you're half a metre out.
It was just as unique.
Come on, Lloydy.
Come on, BJ. It was
that was unique. Yeah, that was all right.
It was
smart.
It was
You didn't want to pick it up and give it to a teammate that's front and
It's
square.
a bit of showtime. I love giving it to Carlton. So.
God, Kane bags Jezelenko's mark.
That's your run-of-the-mill goal.
Yeah,
You're lucky.
I'll wear that.
You're lucky. OK, so Geelong won everything that year. They won the Premiership, the Brownlow medal, the Norm Smith medal, but Jimmy Bartel was the man with 29 votes ahead of Boomer and Simon Black on 22. So it was a massive win by Jimmy Bartel. A few people not surprised, but they thought that Gary Ablett Jr. might have won it, but certainly Jimmy Bartel on the night was a worthy winner, and what a player he was, stepped up in big games when they needed him.
It was a great final series, 2007, despite the grand final and a prelim being a one-sided affair. But this was the drawn final, went into overtime in that particular year. We had the Buddy Franklin officially becoming, or arriving, coming of age. Dane Swan had a fantastic final series and actually helped them win the final in that overtime. Buddy Franklin kicked the 7 goals against Adelaide. This was his official arrival, Kane. Won the game off his own boot. This goal, I mean, it's outside 50, set shots. You can see the score, and they won. They got through and then won the premiership the next year with him kicking 100 goals. And it was also a year where your teammate, Warren Treadway, managed to do this after the massive prelim final win.
Yeah.
Just thanking the crowd with this gesture.
We got a bit carried away. We got a bit carried away with ourselves, I think, and then got brought back down to earth. But the elimination final as well was part of that series, and Ben Cousins has been through a lot of controversy that year. There's me trying to chase him, and his hammy just rips, and you can see him scream there, and that was a really...
Did you hear that, did you?
Yeah, I heard him scream, and then he's
his last game for West Coast.
late in the third quarter, never played again. You saw the scenes in the room
for West Coast
as well, for West Coast, where he lifted his Guernsey up, and you could see the new tattoo that he had got. I remember looking up to the scoreboard and seeing that, and then seeing the tattoo, but we wanted to win that one in a close one, but didn't work out for us, unfortunately, on grand final day.
Well, we made mention of the Cats, and they won everything this year, but they had one of the largest winning margins of all time, and how times have changed. It was against the Tigers at Marvel Stadium, 157-point win. Joel had 15 individual goal kickers. Final score, how's this for one? 35 goals, 12, 222 they ended up kicking, if you see it there. Unbelievable. There's Nathan Ablett, Andrew Mackey even hit the scoreboard, Tom Hawkins, Paul Chapman, 4 goals each.
That was Stevie J's first game back in after I think he broke his ankle and was out by the club. So I think that was about round 7 maybe. So spent the first 6 weeks on the sideline, went on to be All-Australian. That was his first game back in the Cats colours.
Was this the same year as a few Richmond players confronted Terry Wallace about moving on, or not?
No, that was the following year, 2008, where the push-up king went in and demanded he resign.
And, two icons of Australian rules football also finished up. Neil Danaher, emotional times. This was a tight loss against the Bombers, and I just never forget he and David Neitz, close obviously still to this day, walked off as captain and coach in tears. You see that iconic game. He had a great time of it at Melbourne, losing a grand final and a lot of final success there. Neil Danaher and the great Kevin Sheedy after 27 years at the helm, and this was at the MCG, so they had a big farewell, he and James Hird in Perth the week before, and then at the MCG also the week after. So yeah, just one of the
hasn't recovered since, Llordo, in some ways, has it?
No,
it has not recovered.
Haven't won a final since he left. He's the only coach, I think, in 50 years to have taken Essendon to a winning final.
Great scenes for the Bombers there. And speaking of the Bombers, it was a tight finish at the SCG against the Sydney Swans. And this ball is out. Smoking McPhee was almost on the fence. And then Llordo goes forward and they get the goal, or the goal here from Spike McVeigh. And very happy. So this ball, have a look at how far out this was. So that is out. So they didn't call that. The Sydney crowd were going off their heads. And then after the game, our man Llordo just tried to spice things up a little bit. Have a look at Llordo.
Come on, Llordo.
He's still going. He's still going.
Drowning me out. I'd had enough.
Well done, Llordo. The deep dive is always a great part of the show.